Hello again, welcome to a new week. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you, you're the real MVP. But if you're new to my channel, hello, my name is Grace, but you can call me Gracie, and I am on a journey to grow 22 inches of hair. Yes, you heard right, girl, I want them inches. So I will be using different products and techniques that I will hopefully be able to incorporate into my usual hair care routine so that I can reach that goal sooner rather than later. So if that's something you're interested in, then please do consider subscribing and of course hitting that notification bell so you know every time I upload. And while you're there, why not follow me on my other social media accounts, which should appear somewhere around me right now. And if at any point during my hair growth journey you do decide to use one of the products or techniques that I'm using, then please go ahead and use this hashtag Gracie Crew Growth Journey so that I know that you are one of us. So with that being said, let's get into this video. Hello my beauties, let me just make sure that we are seated in the right angle. But hello, yes, this week's hair growth tip is, of course, as the title obviously says, growing back those edges and knowing what is causing you to lose them in the first place. And I know some of you already know, so in case you do, you know, you might still watch this. Maybe there's something else you haven't been paying attention to, so still do stay tuned for the first part where I'll be talking about the causes of you possibly why you may have or may be losing your edges. And of course the second part of this video will be what you can do about them. So yeah, let's get into the first part, which is the causes of people losing their edges. So I'm gonna focus on 4 or 5 main reasons. The first one being excessive tension on your edges. Now, if you have been following my hair growth journey, you will see that currently I do have a protective style in, and actually I do have a hair growth tip video that talks all about protective styling and avoiding too much tension on your hair, so do check that one out as well. But yeah, excessive tension on your hair, especially on your edges. So that could not only come from your hairstyles, but also as well the accessories that you wear on your head. So I actually had a time, I think it was last year or beginning of this year, where I did see my hairline start to thin out because I was wearing bonnets like literally every single day. Going to sleep, I had a bonnet in my head. Waking up, because you know I'm home, I'm not doing much, I had a bonnet in my head, which is not good. So that's also another cause. It's not just wearing wigs every single day. It's not just having those really tight hairstyles where you can definitely tell that they pulled your edges, but it's also things like wearing that hairband every single day, especially when perhaps you're going to work, or that ponytail that you like so much that I know it's easy to do, but it could also be causing you to lose your edges. That, I don't know, silk scarf even that you keep on wearing every single time because maybe you're working from home, or that bonnet like me that you keep on wearing. So those are also things that could cause excessive tension on your hairline and cause you to start to lose hair around your hairline. So the second thing, of course, is mechanical damage. So that is, you're the type of person that your hands are always in your hair. So baby girl, baby boy, you need to stop that. So things like you're constantly touching your hair, you're constantly undoing and redoing hairstyles even when it's unnecessary. You're constantly like doing hairstyles that cause, of course, tension, as I said, in your hair, or you just have a habit of like touching your hair, pulling on your hair. All that can also result in you losing hair around your edges. Number 3 reason is, of course, heat damage. Now, I know this was a thing before, not so common these days, but there may be some of you that perhaps you're doing hairstyles that require you to straighten out your hair, blow out your hair, which of course heat in itself is not a horrible thing. The horrible thing, however, is if you misuse heat on your hair. So if you have been misusing heat on your hair, you might have noticed that from the time you began using more and more heat, you probably noticed that your hairline is thinning out, your edges are falling out, girl. You're starting to look bald-headed if you haven't already. And that also could be causing your hairline to start to recede. So we are on number 4, right? Yeah, number 4 would be excessive use of products on your hairline. So you're constantly slaying those edges, girl. You're constantly putting some type of styling agent in your hair. And the other side of this is that you're not just putting these like probably almost every day, you're not properly washing them out when you do, or you're leaving them on your edges and then you go back and put some more in probably the next day or within the few hours. And all of that is not only horrible for your scalp, which is around your edges, but it's also horrible for the hair because it doesn't get an opportunity to like breathe, you know. It doesn't get an opportunity to properly absorb things like moisture and the other products that you may be using that are actually good for it. So that would be the 4th reason. Then the 5th reason could be related to any health condition you may have that you are or may not be aware about. Something I mentioned in one of my previous videos where I was talking about, you know, the health of your body definitely matters, and that is my scalp health video. Do check that out as well. I was talking about how it's very important that you will see that once you start to take care of your body, your hair also starts to improve as well. So make sure you stay. Well, we'll get into that. Let me not mention that now. But yeah, if you have been having some health issues, probably if you look back and see from when the illness started, if your hair was thriving before, there was not much change to it, you might notice that perhaps when this condition started, or whatever it may be that you may be facing started, maybe you noticed that, oh, my hair is not the same anymore. Then as well, it's also been noticed that for some people that perhaps change, let's say maybe you were doing, you know, the normal eat anything and everything you want to eat, and maybe you switch to being a vegan, or you switch to being a pescatarian, or just like a major change in your diet can also result in you losing some hair. Now, I'd say for that one, it's just mainly your body readjusting. So I'm sure after some time you will definitely see an improvement. So that's on that one, especially if you're careful that you are getting in the proper amount of nutrients that you need to in your body, then that one is not to worry about. But if you do have any type of health condition that you haven't yet gotten a checkup, you know, you haven't yet talked to a health professional about, then please do make some time to do so that you know if there's something wrong in your body. It's better you know, so you know how to approach it, how to fix it, what can be done. So yeah, that's that about that. So those are 5 reasons why you are probably losing your hair and your edges are just falling out and you're just like, what's happening? So hopefully those 5 reasons have given you an idea of what's been causing your hairline to not be flourishing and looking thick and beautiful, and you know, also you being able to rock those edges. But yeah, those are 5 reasons. So hopefully that helps. And of course, if you need more information on what else could cause your edges to fall out, then leave your question in the comment section and I will definitely either provide you information that I know of or direct you to people or resources that would address your question, hopefully. So yeah, the second part, let's get into what you can do to bring back those edges, keep them, you know, nice and full, you know, and get you not looking bald-headed. So the first thing you need to do, as I mentioned before, avoid using excessive products. Avoid using an edge control every single time you do your hair or every single time you have your hair out. just embrace not having to do your edges, girl. Embrace that not every single hairstyle you do requires you to have your edges done, requires you to have excessive products on your edges. But if you do decide to have those type of hairstyles, definitely reduce them. So maybe I would say, like, if you're the type of person you like to get your hair done often, I would say reduce the number of hairstyles you do that require you to have your edges done and apply so much product, or reduce the number of times you do your hair. Try to find hairstyles that last a little bit longer so that you are not required to do your hair as often and you don't have to have, you know, such huge amounts of products in your hair all the time. And as I was saying, when you do use the products, make sure that you wash them out that same day. So don't make it a habit, or rather stop the habit, if you have it, of going to bed and you have excessive, you know, like gels or even like super heavy oils on your edges. Wash them out, get your edges clean, and then make sure to use a light oil, which I will get into eventually. That's also another point. Number 2 is, of course, avoid excessive heat on your edges. Our edges are probably some of the softest hairs in our head, some of the most delicate, some of the most sensitive. So avoid applying heat to your edges all the time. When you do, make sure you learn how to properly use the heat, or make sure that you have an idea how it's supposed to be done, so that when you do go to a hairstylist, you can pay attention to whether they're just destroying your hair or they're doing the right thing. And I'm so glad that now more hairdressers are coming here on YouTube and, you know, generally on the internet and giving us more information. I did mention her before in one of my previous videos, but one of the hairstylists you can watch is Deeper Than Hair TV. She is so awesome. She gives so much advice to just us normal people that know not much about hair. So definitely do check her out. She's one of the people that I trust will give you proper information about your hair. Okay, so number 3, avoid applying excessive oil. So the same thing with products. Excessive oils are heavy oils, let me say. Excessive meaning, you know, the amount of oil. It could be a light oil and it could actually be good for your edges, but make sure you don't apply too much of it. The same goes for do not apply heavy oils, things like shea butter, mango butter, even castor oil. If you do apply them to your edges, do not keep them in your hair for too long. Maybe just keep them in for, you know, as part of like a mask or a hair mask or something like that. Then make sure you wash them out, because those can also be, you know, clogging the scalp area around your edges. So yeah, that's something also to consider. The 4th thing is make sure that you have a satin pillowcase on hand, which, as I mentioned before, is something I discovered that as much as silk scarves are still very useful, bonnets are still very useful, the problem I had was sometimes they would slip off my head, sometimes they would be so irritating or too heavy, sometimes, you know, the way I would sleep, my hair would end up getting pulled on. So when I switched over to using pillowcases, satin pillowcases or silk ones, if you can find them, if you can, you know, afford them, which congrats if you can. But yeah, using a pillowcase is so much better. You don't have to remember to, you know, wear it, or as long as you just have, like, you know, one of the pillowcases on your pillow. All you need to do is just basically grab that pillow when you're going to bed and you're good to go, sis. And it's also helpful when you are in, you know, particularly hot, you know, time of the year. It's hot and you don't want anything on your head. It's also very useful. Then as well, you have the hairstyle in, you know, having to wrap them in all those silk scarves and how many you have to use just to keep the style intact. At least with a silk pillowcase, you can just go to bed and just be like, I don't have to worry about those extra 5 minutes of trying to put things together and making sure they don't fall apart. So definitely do that. Number 5 would be get into massaging your scalp. Please, this is so essential. And if again you are following me on my hair growth journey, you will notice that because I am using this past 21 days. I still have 7 more days to go. Do check out my day 14 update. But yeah, because I'm using spearmint oil and because of the way it made my scalp feel, I've been paying more attention to massaging my scalp, making sure that the oil, like, you know, is really penetrating into my scalp, and it's been amazing. Even just like 2 minutes every time you get your hair washed and you're applying your scalp oil or whatever oil you have decided to use to aid your scalp in growing more hair and becoming healthier, take some time to massage it. And I like to use the pads of my fingers mainly because it allows me to like feel any areas, notice anything that maybe may be out of the ordinary. But as well, there are also scalp massages that you can use. Those I've heard are really good as well. Just make sure that you don't get anything that tangles up your hair if you have your hair out. But yeah, otherwise, if you don't want to get that, your fingers are always there. And just 2 minutes of every time, perhaps especially when after you've washed your hair, you know, you're applying your product so that your hair doesn't dry out. Take some time to really massage some oil into your scalp. So some oils that I would suggest, as I mentioned before, I found that spearmint oil is amazing. So I would definitely say peppermint oil is something else that a lot of other people talk about. Rosemary oil. So stick to the very light oils, but also as well go ahead and research a little bit on other oils that are great for you, great for the scalp rather. Aloe vera oil is another one, and which is actually really easy to make. You can make it at home. Actually, all the oils that I've mentioned, except perhaps for peppermint, because I'm not sure how many people have peppermint growing, you know, in the back of their garden or somewhere where they can buy it from. But all these are oils that you can actually make at home, which is awesome. So yeah, stick to lighter oils so that they don't create buildup on your edges, and they're just able to penetrate and, you know, deliver all the nutrients they need to deliver. And the last one the very last one is take care of your body as much as you can. As I mentioned before, there are some conditions that are not your fault, you know, they just happen. So try as much as possible, take care of your body, drink lots of water, because again, the state of our body is like our hair mimics our body. If our body is not good, most times you see that people's hair follow suit. So do your best to take care of your body, take care of your mind, because again, even things like stress can cause you to lose hair. So that will be our hair growth tip of the week. I hope it helped you out. And again, if you have any questions, please do leave them in the comment section and I'll be sure to answer as best as I can, or lead you to someone else that can answer your question, hopefully. All right, so that's all for this week. I do hope you go back and watch my day 14 update, but otherwise do consider subscribing, and I will see you in our next hair growth tip next week. Bye.